Meaningful impact. That's different than just being seen. In St. Louis, we have a lot of people doing work that doesn't always make the biggest noise, but it does make a real difference. Meaningful impact is what happens when intention meets action. It's not just showing up to be in the room, it's showing up to serve the room. It's the person who walks into the conversation thinking, how can I help? It's the leader who does not just collect connections, but creates outcomes. It's the professional who understands that the goal is not to look important. The goal is to be useful. And St. Louis needs more of that because this city is full of the people with ideas, with dreams, with businesses, movements, and missions that are waiting on the right support. Sometimes that support looks like a strategy. Sometimes it looks like encouragement. Sometimes it looks like a referral, a resource, a conversation, or somebody willing to stand in the gap and make an introduction to move things forward. That is meaningful impact. Not attention for the sake of attention, not movement without direction, and definitely not busy work dressed up as progress. But we're talking intentional action that produces real results for real people. That is the St. Louis I believe in. A city where people don't just ask, what can I get? They ask, what can I build? What can I solve? Who can I help? And when people move like that, the whole city gets stronger. Because impact is not measured only by how many people know your name. Sometimes it's measured by how many people are better because you showed up. That is the St. Louis worth telling stories about. That is the St. Louis that we're here to document. And today's guest is a shining example of that kind of meaningful impact. Today on STL Hustle Insider, we sit down with Trey L. Scott, co-founder of Emerging Business Leaders.
Welcome to STL Hustle Insider, the podcast highlighting the people, businesses, and movements building the city from the inside out. Hosted by Cortez Hustle, each episode brings you real conversations, local insight, and the kind of stories that remind us why St. Louis keeps pushing forward. From the neighborhoods to the boardrooms, from the creatives to the community builders, this is where St. Louis stories get the spotlight. So lock in, tap in, and get ready. This is more than a podcast. This is STL Hustle Insider, and it starts now.
Real quick, before we bring out today's guest, it's time to go inside STL Black History. This STL Black History moment is brought to you by STL VRC, supporting the stories, history, and people building St. Louis. St. Louis Virtual Resource Center, or STL VRC for short, is the ultimate compilation of resources every STL entrepreneur needs to get their hands on. You can go to the website here on the screen and learn more about their list of 101 resources every STL entrepreneur needs. Everything from funding resources to events to co-working spaces to mentorship and opportunities to connect with other entrepreneurs in your space. STL VRC, we salute you. Today, we're talking about meaningful impact because impact is not just what you built. It's who gets lifted because you built it. In the early 1900s, a Black woman built a beauty business in St. Louis that became far more than just another company. It became a training ground, a source of employment and empowerment, a cultural gathering place, and a symbol of Black excellence at a time when opportunity was often blocked by segregation. Her work helped thousands of Black women see entrepreneurship not just as survival, but as ownership, skill, dignity, and economic power. And her giving reached beyond business. Her support helped strengthen one of St. Louis's most important institutions serving Black children and families. So here's today's Inside STL Black History trivia question. What was the name of the Black St. Louis entrepreneur and philanthropist whose beauty empire became a platform for business, training, and community impact? And you better not Google it. Stick around and we'll share the answer at the end of today's show. Now, let's get into more conversation about meaningful impact with Trey L. Scott, co-founder of Emerging Business Leaders. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to STL Hustle Insider. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. And I'm super excited to have a conversation with what I am calling someone who is serious about meaningful impact. Believe it or not, everything that we do makes an impact somewhere in some way, shape, or form, but it's not always meaningful. This guy moves with intention and he flat out get results. So I'm going to introduce some of you guys and present to others my good friend, Mr. Trey L. Scott. What's good, bro?
What's going on, man? I love the intro.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Well, we're gonna dive right into it, man. And I ain't gonna hold you because there's a question that I ask everybody who comes hangs out with me, and that question is this: who the heck are you?
Oh, wow. Son, father, brother, entrepreneur, preacher. I'm a citizen, but I'm a follower of Christ.
Okay.
And I believe in just pouring back into God's people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And as a citizen, I like how you put that because if more people realize that's who we are literally global citizens. And then you break that all the way down to the neighborhoods and communities where we reside. I think that would cause us to behave just a little bit differently out here in these streets. What say ye?
I think you were respected more. Take the difference between if you're renting or owning a home. And homeowners, they take more respect in their property.
Yeah.
And if you understood that this is my neighborhood, this is my community, this is my city, this is my country, and no one's gonna make it better for me but me.
That's right. That's right. So let's walk down memory lane, man. What is young? Give me young 6 to 8 year old Trey. Give me 10 to 12 year old Trey, and then give
Wow.
me high school Trey. 16 to 17. Man, walk us through that timeline of who you were and what shaped you into who you are now.
You know what? And I'm glad we're shooting here over in East St. Louis because this is home for me. And so
Okay.
I grew up right off 15th and Grove Street over in
Okay.
East St. Louis. And so my family's from East St. Louis.
Got it.
And I can remember growing up at 9 to 6. And if you don't know, now you need to know. East St. Louis is the home of champions for one, but we're hustlers too.
That's right.
And I remember growing up and remembering running in, down the street, and we're just in the, in the hood. And so I remember looking up, and me and my brother would look over and we would see the arch from across the river. And the saying that the grass is green on the other side, and we would think it was just this magical kingdom, that was unattainable for us, man. And it wasn't until we got a little older and my mom wanted to get us away from over in East St. Louis to move us over into a better life. And so about age 10 or so, she ended up getting we bought our first home.
Okay.
We were renting forever in East St. Louis, and we bought our first home over in Glasgow Village. And when we moved to Glasgow Village, when, we still had white neighbors.
When it was nice.
When it was nice.
Glasgow.
Before
A solid place.
man, Katrina didn't even hit yet. I think I remember I've been in school in East St. Louis when 9/11 hit.
Yeah.
And school, everything shut down. And then a few years later, Katrina hits like a couple years later. And I remember how the neighborhood just took this deficit and things just started declining. And then you get these people that are starting to move in, and then you get these people that just doesn't care for their homes, don't care for their neighborhood.
Yeah.
I can remember seeing how my neighbors would just, we would get fines for not cutting grass. I remember that.
Yeah.
And now going back and now looking and riding through that neighborhood is not the same, man. Weeds are overgrown the homes. And so I remember running through Glasgow Village and going to Riverview Gardens high school. And I was a little bit of an overachiever. I did everything I could to just fill this empty void within myself because I was missing something and I was trying to learn what it was. And so I applied for every sport. I was captain of the football team, did basketball, I would have did baseball. That ain't my sport.
Right,
And captain of the debate team. I was the battalion commander for the NJROTC program for 2 years running. I was the youngest one out the gate. And I did everything possibly known to man. I was in like the top 33 percentile of my class. And so that shifted when I went to college.
Okay.
And but I always had a strict mother. My mother, she stood on us. She didn't want us to, to fail. She made sure that, we kept our bearings about who we were, where we were going. And she set that for us. And when we get to college, man, Lincoln's a party school. So what can I tell you? Freshman year, we blew up. We did whatever we wanted. We were out away from under my mom's roof, and we had my boys in high school that followed up to college, and we called ourselves the Wolf Pack.
Okay.
And we made a pact with each other, like we was boys since middle school, so we made a pact with each other back in like sophomore year of high school, saying, you know what, whatever happens, however far we move away from, whatever happens, that we'll come back to home and we'll pour back into home.
Yeah.
And it's 15 years later rolling, man, after, most of them went to the military, got out of the military, retired. We came back home 15 years later, and we've been up boots on the ground rolling, pouring back into our community, pouring back into our neighborhood. And that's what actually started EBL.
Gotcha.
Was from a promise that I made with my boys that we were going to envision on how we were going to pour back into what we wanted to do with our own community.
In middle school, man, I love that, man. I actually went to Lincoln as well. I tell people that I dropped out after 2 semesters, but I had checked out after 2 weeks.
Man.
Like it was, I had realized like very early on, like, okay, my mama expected me to be here, but I ain't really here.
Look, reality hits in when you ain't getting that meal prep no more because you're on academic probation.
Man, listen, and I went on a band scholarship and didn't understand what that really meant. So second semester, I changed my major. And it's like, okay, look, rent us our money.
Yeah.
You gonna be in the band.
Yeah, man.
Like, we paying for you to come play the saxophone.
Yeah.
But I love that, man. You talked about being a preacher during, what was that always your upbringing in the church? As a follower of Christ, when you're a preacher's kid, anything like that?
No, you know what? Not at all. It wasn't like that for me and my family. We have a church home. It's actually in East St. Louis.
Okay.
Morning Star Baptist Church, which is right around the corner from here. Yeah. And my family's through there. But no, I didn't really grow up in the church. What happened was senior year of high school, I had a mentor of mine who was solely investing into my future. Mm-hmm. And he would pick me up from home all the way in Glasgow, mm-hmm. and he would take me all the way out on West Florissant, man, and like Lucas and Hunt, mm-hmm. to his church. And his name was Senior Chief Amantine. And he knew then, before I even knew it in me, that I was called to the ministry. Gotcha. And he would pick me up and he would take me, and he was the elder of the church, and he would take me to church on Sunday mornings. And I was sitting there with him like, all right, man, what are you trying to teach me? I just wanted to learn. I was soaking everything up. And he would ask me when we got out of church, now, what did you learn from the sermon? And then he would try to make me implement whatever I learned from the sermon in the middle of the week doing school. He was my teacher. Okay. And so he was my teacher. And so from there, I went to college, and I always had this this voice that was on the back of my just nerve. And one day, man, I got my mentor in college, which is my pastor and father in the ministry. I was studying under his tutelage. We were, he was working with youth and youth development work at Lincoln, and he ended up opening his own church. And I told him one day, I said, man, I think I'm called to the ministry. Mm. And he said, I knew it. I was just waiting on you.
Mm. Okay.
I was waiting on you, man.
Wow.
Look, so yeah, and then I've been in ministry for about the better half of over like 12 years or so. Okay. And it's been a tough go at it, man. I can tell you this, man, God has never left my side. Gotcha. And I know he's pulling me in different directions, and I know that even in a sense of who I'm developing right now as, I'm always going to be continuously developing from boyhood to teen to adulthood to manhood to even fatherhood. And so those stages of my life, I know God has been through and pushing me and guiding me through the scenes of that. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, we got to take a quick commercial break. And on the other side of this break, man, I really want you to get into what EBL is, man. I've been watching you guys. Like it's, you don't understand how difficult it is for me to sit in this chair and not fanboy all over you.
Oh, wow.
Like I've been watching y'all jam and rock out in a way that I've always seen myself and others around me, like that approach to community development with an emphasis on business and entrepreneurship, because without the economic piece, then we're lost, right? So we're going to take a quick commercial break, y'all. And taking us to this break is one of my favorite STL artists of all times, goes by the name of Latif. And he ain't my favorite because he's my son. He my favorite because he can blow like his daddy. I would give y'all something, but some other time. So we're going to pay some bills and we'll be right back. Listen to the smooth sounds of Latif. I think he calls this one Sweet Love.
Wherever we go, just want you to be comfortable with me. Oh, there's no need to rush, baby, take your time. As long as in the end, baby, you are all mine. Sweet love. Sweet love is knocking on your door. Would you answer? 'Cause you got the paper on me.
There is a difference between owning protection and being prepared. Preparation starts with education. At Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy, responsible citizens learn the principles that matter most: safety, law, responsibility, and confidence. From firearm safety education to Missouri CCW classes, Relentless helps you train the right way with professional, judgment-free instruction. Whether you are brand new or ready to sharpen your skills, you do not have to figure it out alone. Protecting yourself and protecting your family should never be based on guesswork. Visit relentlessstl.com or call 314-314-8485 to learn more. Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy. Protect yourself, protect your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to STL Hustle Insider, where I am sitting here with Trey L, founder and co-founder of Emerging Business Leaders. We're coming to you live and direct from the 89th Collective Studios right here in East St. Louis. If you have a business and you're using your home address and think you're going to take that business to the next level, you're not. You need a business address, and you can get one through the 89th Collective. Just go to the89collective.com. There's also some other cool stuff. They have cool events here. There's a membership that can get you access to resources and cool people like Trey and his team. The89collective.com. If you're in the East St. Louis area and you're not connected, get connected. I'm just saying. Trey, my friend, this emerging business leader jam, you said basically it was birthed in a pact or promise you made with your homeboys when you guys were knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah.
And you guys all left and did your own thing, got life experiences, grew up a little bit, and then came back. And now here we are. So tell us first and foremost, what is Emerging Business Leaders?
So I can tell you this, we're a collective of entrepreneurs that came together with one sole purpose, and that's to be community activators, whether that's from youth development work, economic development, civic engagement, and whether that's to, help you push your story, tell your brand, tell what that means about the world, about the ones that get overlooked, that never gets their voice heard. We're the ones that come in behind the scenes to help you push your vision forward.
Yeah, I love that. Uh, I think one of the first things I saw is I saw you guys doing a cash mob, and that was a concept that
Yeah.
I had seen years earlier, but I hadn't seen anybody doing it in and around this area. And I'm like, man, it'd be so cool to get some folks together and just do that. Like, that's a small ask to say, hey, y'all, we're just gonna go to this business. Everybody's gonna spend at least $20, and we're gonna help this business owner out, shoot some content, the whole 9 yards. How did you develop that concept first, and then how did you activate it to actually pull it off now in multiple small businesses, not only in St. Louis but also Chicago as well?
Man, first off, it's not just me, it's my team. And so there's a group of us, man. Like I said, we're a group of entrepreneurs. And so it's about 8 of us on our team. And actually our graphic designer who designed all of our shirts, all of our merch and everything, Rashid Troop. At the time he was our vice president, and he said, man, something me and my frat would do in college. When we wanted to have like a fraternity meeting, we would go to a business and we would all just spend money and patronize the business. And he said, flip that. And we wanted to do something like similar like a flash mob. And we'll show up, but we'll be intentional about spending money. And we had been doing this for Black History Month. And so we were doing minority businesses, and he say, don't cap it on that. We want to support anybody that's, just looking for help.
Yeah.
And so, man, we decided, all right, we gonna pour into some communities, man. Well, how do we, really maximize what we're doing and then expand this upon that? And so they picked it up in Chicago for CBS, and we were on CBS News about it. We went and drove out to CBS Chicago in the morning. We were cold and got out there and we just really want to just support business. We wanted to make this as a mobile Essence Fest. We didn't want to make this that was something so trivial and small. If you need help and you only get 3 to 4 people walking into your business or your brick and mortar, what we want to do is drive the whole community, man, the whole municipality, the whole city. And we make this where all the content curators, social media influencers, podcasters, photographers, anybody who's everybody, and blow your spot up and make this like it's a festival.
Yes. Yeah, I love that, because that it not only what it does to a small business with that influx of capital on that day, but all of the content that comes out of it, all of the tagging and the social sharing, and then you have the networking piece where your team is there, but you guys invite the whole city and the
Yeah.
whole community, even leadership. I've seen some of your cash miles where council folks and mayors and all kinds of folks, like, this
Yeah.
is amazing. And imagine what that does to a local business owner when the cash register is chinging all day. I've got people of influence in my space. So if I've got a gripe or something with the city, I can bend the ear of the people who can actually do something about it. And then other business owners and people I could network and collaborate with. All of these folks are in my spot. And then I go to my social feed and I just got notifications out the
Man,
wazoo because
look.
I've been tagged 18 million times from people posting from my
Look.
shop. I just love the way you guys do that. So as a business owner now, how have you been able to now formalize that and productize that in a way that you can really aim that at some businesses that
Woo.
that really need not just need the support, but they're saying, hey, if we could grow, we could do more in the communities too. So I sound like that would be a great place for you to aim a
Yeah.
weapon like a cash mob.
Yeah, and so we learned how now it's taken to building this formula of what it was, because it's a beast now. And when we blow these things up, you actually visit on one of our cash mobs just recently, which was the MLK Day tour.
I was on MLK Day. I was also at
Pop Parade.
Pop Parade.
Yeah.
There, and then we did the coffee joint down on the south side.
Yep. And so the MLK Day inspired us to do something where we're moving into a new phase now, where we're going to do the cash mob bus tour. And we, citizens, local constituents, whatever municipality, they can pay a ticket to get on the bus, and all the meals and food and drink specials are free, and they're complimentary for all the stops. And now we automatically know that we're bringing revenue into these businesses, and they're patronizing. And so we have the best photographers that are in St. Louis City between Derek and Donald, and most of our content creators, and they're getting these behind the scenes footage, and they're getting all these packaged things where they're getting all these candid shots. And so with a business owner that's looking for something like that has a brick and mortar, not only you're seeing about an influx about, say you only make about $300 on a Saturday, but then we come in and we say, well, we're going to bring you about $2,500 within one Saturday, and you're making about $5,000, but you're getting a photographer, a videographer, content creators. You're getting about 60 to 80 people walking in and out of your business within about 2 to 3 days or so. Probably one day at that, because we usually max out about 80 people in one day. Not only that, then you're getting, and y'all, like I said, the municipalities. My good friend, she tells me all the time, she said, if we don't do politics, politics will do us. And so how can we say we're going to establish to help a business, and then the business is having trouble getting their liquor license?
Right.
And they can't contact the council because the council's going back and forth. Right. And so we're bridging the gap between civic engagement, economic development, and growth, and then bringing all this together in one place to say, this is how we're going to blow your spot up. And most people say, well, how much does that charge? A videographer, about an hour is almost 150. Yeah. Photographer is about 160 an hour or so. We make it where it's affordable enough for you, where it's pennies less. On the dollars. I ain't gonna go into the details of it, but it's affordable.
But it's affordable.
And it's great quality content. And not only that, then you're getting all this exposure. And then not only that, you're getting this physical foot traffic. You're seeing revenue. Yeah.
That's it. And when you think about a business that is done right and they have good products and services, and someone like you comes in and brings somebody like me in who didn't even know that business exists, now they've earned a new customer. If they serve me well, I'm going to come back outside of the cash
Yeah.
mob. So if we run 80 to 100 people through this business, how many of that 80 to 100 becomes a repeat customer?
Come on.
Like,
Come on.
you got
Or a business partner.
or a business partner.
Calvin, who's been on your show, we work closely with Calvin.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is that, he does a lot of back office work with most of the businesses. And some of these businesses, they're just starting up.
Yeah.
Some of them, they've been cooking in their houses and now they just got their brick and mortar. And so they're trying to learn these different systems and automated systems on how to really run and operate a business.
Right.
And that's where we come in. I hate to say this, but this is what we're called. We're called a new day and age chamber of commerce. We're mobilized. We're not stationary.
I like it. I like it because that now with me being a part of not just you coming in the cash mob, but me being a part of the collective EBL, now I have access to the people,
Yeah.
right? And not just the service.
Yeah.
Because like you said, sometimes we need the other people, the connections, that network that can help move my business forward. Because we don't always need money. Money is great, but sometimes you just need somebody who can help you with these books.
Man.
Right? and that could be a whole game changer for your business to just get your stuff in order. Right. So I love that you guys are doing that. I got one question for you though. How did you choose Ferguson, or did Ferguson choose you?
Wow. You know what? I think Ferguson chose. No, I'm not gonna say that, because we sat down and we had a board meeting and we wanted to do something a little different. And we thought to ourselves about that we want to make sure that we want to, if we're going to do the work we're doing within the community, that we also got to be healthy on the inside. And so one of our initiatives and one of our pillars is making sure that we're practicing not only mental health, but physical health. And so Rashid, one of the visionary, man, back to him. And he was like, you know what? I go to this juice bar all the time in Ferguson. I sit down. It's like a co-working space and I do a lot of work and I try to get a lot of graphics done. I would love for us to host a 2K run, come together, and then pour more running them. So we had ended up partnering with STL Run Crew at the time. And they came in and they showed up and we had about a good 25 to like 30 some people show up and we hosted a 2K run. And we started at Bee Juice. They got to do the toured the business, bought some smoothies, bought some juice, bought some photographers are taking pictures, and they actually ran 2 miles around Ferguson and met back at Bee Juice, where we had the actual city administrators come out, talk a little bit about how the importance about supporting businesses and all that. And everything we do is in support of local communities and them business owners. And so, that's how. And then from there, we was just, you know what? I think Ferguson's it. I think it is so conveniently, where all these businesses are on one strip to go ahead and I can walk. I mean, plenty.
You walked about 10 of them before. I love that. You mentioned the politics side of things. I want you to speak a little bit to the importance of that side, because I think that side gets so neglected when we think about advocacy, because you tend to have people who want to be career politicians, and then you just got people who have checked out of the political process altogether. But you guys have seem to be finding a way to humanize those who are trying to make a difference through political careers, but also connecting them in a very real way to the people that their decisions are affecting every day. And I think that's super important work. So talk about how you decided as a collective to make that an important piece of this whole business leadership thing you got.
And that's a bit of a mouthful. And I'll tell you from where it started with the vision in the beginning of that. And even before EBL got started, me and my business partner, my other half, my lady, Derica Wilson, we started our own business together. And I was, after college, general manager for a U-Haul out of Columbia, Missouri. And my life hit a change where I lost my brother to gun violence outside of a LA Fitness in Texas. Both of my brothers were shot. One was shot and killed on the spot. The other one was shot and rushed to the hospital. And so my life was changing, shifting. And so it was because of her that I was on the floor one day with Christmas morning and we're opening gifts. And then I'm sitting here and I had this notion. I was like, I want to honor my brother some way. And what does that look like? you know what? I'm gonna start a moving company. I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. We're gonna start our own moving company, and I'm gonna take all the resources I learned from the other man to go ahead and do it there. But I didn't know how to do it. And I'm like, man, but the co-founder Dominic, he was on the road at the time as a truck driver doing his own business, and so we founded EBL off of the assumption that we wanted to go ahead and make sure that not only our families but our friends and everybody that was tied to it was gonna be able to get blessed, but be able to honor the legacy of the person that was lost. And so we named the moving company after Erin, who she had lost her own brother, and Orlando, I lost my own brother. And so we started hiring young brothers off the street to go ahead and employ them to get different jobs other than just manual labor and things like that. So we were hiring these brothers to go ahead and teach them hard and soft skills, but teach them something other than just fast food, right? And so from that, I was like, all right, well, everything we're going to do with EBL is going to have to be about community-based. And so we recently just picked up about our pillars about being in community and being engaged. And so we recently went and been traveling back and forth since the beginning of the year with Empowered Missouri. And we've been advocating for Clean Slate, which is going to be offering, clean slates for, formerly incarcerated individuals. And so we have been testifying on the hearing for it. And thanks to that, and thanks to our testimonies in multiple other businesses, Clean Slate just got passed in Missouri. So now brothers that are coming out of, the penitentiary or coming out and that are, formerly incarcerated, they can come out and now they have the chance to get better paying jobs. Now they have access and resources towards, brothers can't even get food stamps.
Yeah.
When they get out.
You can't rent an apartment.
Yeah.
Rent. Like you talk about being shackled after being formerly housed in a correctional facility. What did y'all correct if I get out and can't do nothing but go back to my same life because I can't get a job, I can't get a house, I can't. So
if you did the time, why are you still being punished for it? Yeah. And so we had recently just been like, we can't sit here and say we're about community. We can't sit here and say we're pouring into these businesses. We can't sit here and say we're pouring into these non-for-profits and all these other organizations if we can't be actually at the forefront of who's voting to make the change, who's at the Capitol talking and pushing legislation. Yep. So if we're going to sit here and keep letting politics do us, we're never going to see any effective change. And you're talking about potholes that's been there for 12 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? The city can't clear trees because they can't get nobody to go and work for them because it's a deficit. The school system, I went to Riverview. Mm-hmm. Me and Derek came into Riverview and half the other board came into Riverview Gardens when we lost our accreditation. Wow. I remember going 4 years at Riverview, how they were telling us when we graduated, we'll never be able to get into another college because we ain't got no accreditation at that school. Yeah. So who's the ones that are stepping up and advocating? And so we call ourselves emerging business leaders because it's a changing of the guard. I remember our mentors were the ones that were stepping up and advocating and, fighting and doing the waltz and marching and doing all that. But it's a such thing as burnout. It's a such thing as they're tired. Yeah. And so who's the ones that are going to step up for us and stand and, be in the gap for those people that are getting overlooked?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, man. Like I said, man, I'm holding my fanboy down because I'm so proud of what you guys are doing. And not only what you're doing, but I see the effects of what you're doing. Like sometimes I'm doing a lot of, you can be busy and not effective.
Yeah.
I see you guys being busy and effective, and that's huge. So before I let you get out of here, man, there's a couple things that we have to do on this show. Everybody has to sit in this seat. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to give me your top 5 all STL. That could be all STL people, that could be places, that could be foods, it could be a combination of them all, it could be a favorite politics, it could be whatever you want it to be, but it's got to be a representation of the loop.
So I ain't gonna name drop nobody because I don't want to have nobody come back with me and talk about some. You got favorites because I got a long list. And so I'll tell you this: if you haven't get with my boy Cortez, if you have not linked with him, man, what you're doing and the work that you're putting out and pushing, there's so many entrepreneurs that need him. I know it's needed. I'm in these businesses every day and I'm having these conversations. And the number one thing we're talking about is brand. Marketing. How do you position yourself in that? So if you haven't already, please get with the STL Hustle Insider. Number 2 would be support local businesses in St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis is literally a city of hustlers. You can't go to no other city. Look, I've been some places. You can't go to no other city and go on any other corner and figure out, there's another spot for this. There's so many different variety of different businesses that are in so many different corners and categories. It's insane to me. And I'm still exploring myself. So I would say support St. Louis businesses. We have some great small business owners. There are some great, particularly resources available for business owner, like Better Family Life, CIC. You were part of STL Pitch, and you guys did a great program where you were all throughout this, even over here in the 89.
Yeah.
And places like the 89, support them. Man, all right, so that was 3. I don't want to name drop nobody. So let me tell you.
STL food places.
Okay, so STL, so if we talking about food.
It's a combination. It has to be one thing.
If we're talking about food, because me and Derek love chicken. So, so whoever, I'm going to tell you who has the best chicken in STL. It's going to have to be hands down. She might argue with me, Max, but on Halls Ferry and Chambers, but it's actually STL Fish and Chicken.
Okay.
That lemon pepper, that lemon pepper seasoned chicken, boy, get me every time. Look, and don't let them put some cheese on your fries. All right? Oh. And then number 5, I would say hands down for one of our nice getaway spots to get to, just to wind down or something like that. Midwest Wine Bar. Or if you want something healthier on the side of things, get bee juice. Yeah.
Guys,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Last thing before I let you go, bro. We do this segment called freestyle. I'm gonna drop a beat, and you gonna rock a flow.
Okay.
Right? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But freestyle is a segment where you get an opportunity. I realize that, as much as I love to run my mouth, I don't always ask the right questions, and sometimes there's topics that you wanted to touch on that maybe you didn't get a chance to. So freestyle is your opportunity to speak to anything you want people to know about Trey L. Scott and the emerging business leaders. We do it in a 60-second drop. So I'm going to count you in, and then you go for what you know, right?
Ooh, all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is freestyle on STL Hustle Insider, the Trey L. Scott emerging business leaders version. Give them what you got, Dirty.
Hey, you behind the camera there. Yeah, you sitting there in your living room, man, the one that's been just pressing back and forth whether or not you plan to start that business today or tomorrow. All you got to do is get up. All you have to do is take the first step. Even for the ones that seem like you're burnt out and you've been doing this for about 12 years, 10 years, 5 years, and you seem like you have no help, and it seems like you've been pressed and your back is against the wall and you don't understand how you can make it the next day. You're Ubering that one day, and the next minute you're worrying about whether or not if the invoice get paid. I understand. I've been there. Look, I'm doing that right now. I'm going to tell you right now, it's okay. There's help. There's resources. There are people that are passionate about the work that you're doing. They believe in you. All you have to do is just take the first step. That's all that matters. So if you're looking for help, if you're looking for people, if you're looking for your village, if you're looking for a family, if you're looking for a team, if you're looking just to hang out and you want to do good work and you want to see your community thrive, you want to see businesses in your community thrive, and you want to see change impacted and affected in your community, then follow us at Emerging Business Leaders on all social platforms. I am Trey L. Scott. They call me the TikTok preacher. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you need to find me at. You can book me and look at me up there. All right. Thanks. Peace.
Drop the mic. Boom. That is Trey L. Scott, ladies and gentlemen. And this is STL Hustle Insider. I'm your boy, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Man, what a conversation with Trey L. Scott. Before we get out of here, let's answer today's Inside STL Black History question. Earlier, we asked, what was the name of the Black St. Louis entrepreneur and philanthropist whose beauty empire became a platform for business, training, and community impact? The answer is Annie Turnbow Malone. Annie Malone was a pioneering entrepreneur, chemist, philanthropist, and founder of the Pearl College, a beauty and training institution that became a major center for Black business and culture in St. Louis. Her impact was bigger than products. She created pathways for Black women to earn, to lead, build skill, and see themselves as business owners. And through her philanthropy, including her support of the institution now known as the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center, her legacy continues to touch families far beyond the beauty industry. That is what we call meaningful impact. Not just success you can count, but lives you help move forward. That's your Inside STL Black History Moment for today. And again, the sponsor for today's Inside STL Black History Moment is the St. Louis Virtual Resource Center. It is the premium place for St. Louis area entrepreneurs to go and find all of the resources that make St. Louis a great hub for entrepreneurship. Check the link in the show notes and the descriptions and go get access to their free 101 resources for St. Louis area entrepreneurs. Until next time, folks, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.